Oh, hi. How's it going? We're here again. You know, the whole discussion thing. It's a wonderful, wonderful situation. There's a few things I should probably talk about and elaborate on. In my last video, there's two things I mentioned that I didn't elaborate on nearly enough, and I really should have. And as usual, that's more my fault than yours. And by that I mean it is completely my fault. I didn't elaborate on stuff, and therefore some people got things misconstrued or people misinterpreted stuff. So I'm going to give it to you straight. This time I'm going to be talking about the whole situation between defamation of character and freedom of speech. And I'm going to talk about both of these things so I can try to get what I was attempting to say in my last video out there, so maybe some of you have a better understanding about what I was talking about. Just as a clarification, I wasn't trying to tell you people how to live your lives. I was just voicing my thoughts on what was going on. To explain why I think commentaries have grown a little bit out of control, and why I think sometimes a commentary shouldn't be done, or it should be done on a more tame level and not just done to mock people. If you mock people for no reason, why are you doing it in the first place? To quell your boredom? In which case I question whether you have a life. But regardless, on to the main topic. Now, again, another clarification. During the course of this video, I'm going to bring up two different websites to use as examples when it comes to these two things I'm talking about, defamation of character and freedom of speech. Those two websites are Encyclopedia Dramatica and YouTube. Now, I'm not trying to rant about either of these sites, and I'm not trying to make fun of either of these sites. In fact, I'm a regular visitor to both of these sites, for reasons that you should be able to grasp on by the time this video is over. I'm just using them as examples because they are the best examples I can come up with to try to explain what I'm talking about. First, let's talk about ED. The thing with the internet is this. The internet is a place that's worldwide, for the most part. It's a place where the law is certainly brought into question as to what you can get away with and what you can't. There's a lot of stuff that people get away with on the internet that they wouldn't be able to in real life, obviously. That's kind of the beauty of the internet in some regards. ED is, for the most part, a satirical website, created for, well, internet trolls, for the most part. The entire site is based mainly on satire, and nothing on it is meant to be taken seriously, again, for the most part. And, for the record, if anyone here is watching this and takes anything on ED as fact, I really question your sanity. But irregardless, ED is actually a pretty awesome site, only because it's really funny. I mean, I even have a page on there. Someone made it a long time ago, and I even laugh at it, because it's ridiculous. And that's the whole point of ED. That being said, there is no defamation of character on ED, because ED is a satirical site, and if you're on ED and you're posting something on ED that isn't true, it's not meant to be taken as fact. That's one of the loopholes ED has when it comes to getting around defamation of character. And for the record, once again, defamation of character is when you state something about somebody else as a fact, and people end up taking it as a fact when it is, in fact, not true. The true example I can think of is the whole, oh my god, Spax loves Cream the Rabbit thing. Spax doesn't have a crush on Cream the Rabbit, and as I may recall in Boomstick's commentary, I'm just using it as an example, Boomstick made the point that entire thing is just a joke. Yeah, it is, but the problem is that there are people online who actually believe that Spax has a crush on Cream the Rabbit. As retarded as it sounds, people actually believe that. Now, if you believe that, you're absolutely out of your mind. But that's where the whole defamation of character thing comes up. Now, on ED, the site isn't meant to be taken seriously, so even if someone does, they're usually labeled as an idiot, and no one cares. And people have certainly tried to get ED for defamation of character. I mean, it has happened in the past, but they never could. And as for freedom of speech, well, of course you have freedom of speech on ED. ED lets you say about whatever you want about somebody, true or not true. Again, it's a satirical site. But what about YouTube? It's the site that most of you watching this probably care about anyway. So what about it? How does defamation of character and freedom of speech even relate to the site? How are they handled? Well, the one I really need to talk about is the freedom of speech. In my last video, I said freedom of speech isn't here on YouTube. You can't say whatever you want on YouTube. Now, I made the mistake of saying that in my demanding tone, which made it sound like I was trying to tell you that, oh, you can't say it because I said so. I apologize that I came across as such. What I meant to say was that you can't do it because of these. YouTube is a privately owned site. They make the rules. They allow you to post, for the most part, whatever you want, as long as you follow the guidelines. Let me bring up Boomstick again. He's a good example. Boomstick, if any of you are fans of him, you recall a long time ago he was doing commentaries on someone named Super Robot Soldier, or Mike the Entertainer, or Tiny Toon Shippuden, or whatever the heck he's calling himself now. And he ended up making a parody video that compared Mike to a gorilla. That video was flagged and removed for racism. If YouTube was a site that allowed for freedom of speech, no video that spoke of racism, that was racist in tone, would be removed. You could make a video spewing the N-word and it wouldn't be removed if freedom of speech were in existence on YouTube. But it's not. There are a lot of videos that actually violate YouTube's policies, but a lot of them don't end up being removed, mainly because I think YouTube is too busy muting videos for Warner Music Group. But that's not the point. My point in saying that you can't say whatever you want was not to tell you guys what to do. I was trying to tell you guys that on YouTube, they make the rules, and if they say you can't say something, they will take down your video. This isn't our site, guys. It's theirs. They made it. They pay for all the bandwidth. They pay for the space. They basically allow you to freely upload whatever you want as long as they say it's okay. And if they say something isn't okay, there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Defamation of character is certainly a crime that has been committed on YouTube, and people have gotten in trouble for it. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole. I'm not trying to sound like someone who's, trying to spoil your fun. And I even said in my last video, I think commentaries are okay if they are done on a constructive level. But a lot of commentaries nowadays are not. And there's something else you guys should really know. The internet isn't a place where you can come on and do whatever you want and not expect repercussions in real life. People have gotten turned away in job interviews because their potential employer saw what they posted online. Employers nowadays are actually looking up people's Facebook pages before they even call them in on an interview. That's how the world is working now, guys. My point is to advise you. My point is to let you guys know so you don't make mistakes like a lot of people have. You need to watch what you do on here, and if you're going to do something that's trolling, do it anonymously so they can't, figure it out that it's you. Because it can't come back to haunt you in real life. I mean, would you want to go for a job interview and be turned away because you mocked a retarded kid on YouTube? I mean, it's no skin on my nose. You guys can do whatever you want. My last video was nothing more than my opinion on the matter, supported by some facts that I mentioned, but again, I didn't elaborate on, which was my fault. But the only reason I mentioned all this is just to inform you guys, just to let you guys know. If you guys want to keep making commentaries, go ahead. I'm not going to get, whiny about it. It's not really anything of any importance to me. It doesn't affect me. I was just trying to voice my thoughts on it. And one last thing. This whole thing about freedom of speech. I think you guys should have the right to say how you feel. My point was that YouTube doesn't agree with that sentiment. Stay sane, everybody.